Good evening. What do you have? It's Chaim, you have over the phone?
Pardon?
Good evening,
Sorry?
Rabbi.
You have lessons over the phone?
It's on Zoom, but we're officially only allowed to do it over the phone.
Good evening, Rabbi Claw.
How many more? Which class are you in? Can you give one? Which year? Third or
base.
fourth? Base. Oh,
Second.
we have another 2 years of it. How are you, Moshe? For a minute, the computer wasn't working. I got all nervous. I had to call you, but I started to behave itself eventually.
I've got to be on mute. So.
How is everybody? Is everybody okay? I don't remember
Oh,
having
all good.
before weather.
I've just been a key worker.
Oh yeah, why?
I'm a locksmith. I went to do a job.
Where? Saying somebody couldn't
Press
enter the
switch.
house.
Yeah, couldn't get in actually.
Never.
The job is a key worker.
Oh, I don't understand.
I'm the only real key worker.
I got a very strong message from Tashba. Basically, they don't want any of the parents to be key workers. They can't really be bothered having the school open. And key workers are officially allowed to have the kids. Anyway.
Tashba is open. There's a few kids in Tashba.
Is there? I don't know.
Yes.
I got a message them asking basically.
I think the school's open for like 15 kids. My neighbor works there.
Oh. We're up to, okay, we've got a lot to do. We're carrying on with different things you're allowed to or not allowed to wear on Shabbos. So we're up to Daf Samach Amud Aleph, about 10 lines from the top. And the Mishnah tells us, a woman is not allowed to go out in the street with a needle. Says the Gemara, Lemay Chazia. That means the fact that the Mishnah puts it in the list of things which are ornaments and not burdens, the answer must be that it's got some use. If it's got no use, then it's a burden and should be Issa D'Oraisa. The fact that it's only Issa D'Rabbanan is obviously it's used for something. Omar Yosef Hol V'Isha Ogeres B'Osaiva. Since a woman collects a hair, if there's hair which is floating around, it means it's coming out of its places, she takes this pin, and with the pin, she gathers the hair together. And therefore, it's like clothes, and therefore, it's not a burden, it's an ornament, and therefore, it's not awesome in our Torah, only with Rabbanon to carry it. Only Abaya, but to have a Kebiris Torah, it should be like a garter. A garter is like a small belt, elastic band, which you put at the top of your socks. And it makes sure that your socks don't roll down. Nowadays, our socks come already elasticated. We're not so used to it. If you read old books, every little boy who went to school had to have garters on his socks to make sure that you would have an elastic band to make sure that his socks didn't fall down. So the Gemara says, the Mishnah tells us later, that these belts, these bands which they used to put around their stocking, that the stocking shouldn't roll down, a woman is allowed to wear it on Shabbos. And the Mephoshim explained the reason is, what's the reason? Because a woman will be loath to take it off. Because if she does, it will make the socks roll down and there'll be a lack of tznius. So a woman makes sure on Shabbos she doesn't take off these garters. Says the Gemara, if a garter is permitted, so too should a pin, which is made to collect the hair, that the hair shouldn't escape, that should also be permitted. And says Gemara, V'tishtu ish b'mutar. Oh, no, that's the next one. We got the wrong one. Says the Gemara, Elo tirgma of Adonai Shol Kamed Rab Yosef, Hoyel v'isho chilekes b'osar b'Shabbos. It is made to divide the hair on Shabbos. That means to make a parting in the hair, a woman would use a certain kind of pin, and that pin was like a decorative purposes, and that is that is an ornament which is only forbidden b'drabanan min Torah. You're not allowed to comb your hair on Shabbos. Since you're not allowed to comb your hair on Shabbos, therefore this should be something which is completely forbidden. I don't know if you read the Amidia. If you do, every week they usually have a little article where they speak to people who survived the Holocaust. I always find that one of the most interesting parts in the entire Amidia. And it describes people who haven't, some of them don't remember their brothers and sisters in 60, 70, 80 years already. I don't remember the name of the article. It's called Holocaust Diaries. Holocaust Diaries. Any of you read it? In Amidia, no? And it describes this last week. It says that he remembers that his sister was one of the few people in the town that did not comb her hair on Shabbos. Because you're not allowed to comb your hair on Shabbos. And therefore, that was what he remembered about his sister. She didn't comb her hair on Shabbos. Since you're not allowed to comb your hair on Shabbos, therefore it's not an ornament. It should be completely forbidden. Answers the Gemara, Omar Rava, Tashel Zav Yeshlo Al Reisha B'Choil. Tashel Zav Yeshlo B'Al Reisha. It's got a golden top. B'Choil in the weekday, Chelekes Bosar should divide the hair. Oh, very nice picture. Shabbos B'Nichroto Kadechet B'Tachto. Very good. This is a very nice picture. This is a much better picture than the one which you've got over here, which I was about to show you. It is very nice. Can you see it? In the weekday, they would use the pin to make a parting in the hair. And that is forbidden on Shabbos because you don't comb your hair on Shabbos. Therefore, you didn't use it. But at the same time, it could also be used. I'm not sure why they've got it on the jacket. It's not meant to be on the jacket. That's Tesis. Actually, leave out the one on the jacket. We're talking about just the one on the hair. Just the one on the top of her head. I'm talking about those who are looking at the picture. Ignore the one on the jacket. It's only the one in the head. That is something that on Shabbos, if she were to walk out on Shabbos with this pin, which she can use to comb her hair during the week, but on Shabbos to adorn her hair, what's the halacha? Now you've all got a picture. You go to Paskin. Let's say you see a lady walking on Shabbos or such a thing on Shabbos. What would you, okay, there's an Erev in Manchester, but let's say there'll be no Erev. What would you say to her? What Issa is she doing? Who wants to say, no? Rabbonim. What's the halacha? What would you say to her? You would say to her like this. You're not doing an Issa D'Oraisa because it's an ornament, it's like clothes. You're doing an Issa D'Rabbanan. Which Issa D'Rabbanan are you doing? Because since it's an ornament, there's a chance you'll take it off and show it off, and then that way you'll come to carry it. Nowadays we permit it, but that's what you would say. Very good. Let's go weiter. Go up to the next Mishnah. Maybe, who's doing the pictures, may I ask? Who's going? Yossi, is Yossi doing the? Yossi, are you doing the pictures? So you've got more pictures coming up.
Yossi.
Oh, Yossi, because there's quite a few pictures coming up. We've got it over here in Pirush Chai, but I can see these pictures are better. It says the next Mishnah. Till now, we talk about what ladies are not allowed to wear. Now we're going to talk about what men are not allowed to wear. A man shouldn't go out with a hobnailed shoe, with a shoe full of nails. I don't know if you've got a picture, but if you haven't...
It's me, yeah.
Yeah, have you got a picture of a nailed shoe?
Yeah, I'm doing the pictures.
Oh, so do a picture of a nailed...
I'll do better.
Sorry? Can you see the picture of the nailed shoe? Maybe you can put on the next picture. You mustn't go out on Shabbos with a nailed shoe. You're not allowed to walk outside with one shoe on and one shoe off.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to put it on.
Right. You're not allowed to walk on Shabbos with just one shoe. Rashi, the Gemara in Bavli does not tell us what's wrong with walking on Shabbos with just one shoe. Rashi brings from the Yerushalmi that if a person, what's wrong with walking with one shoe on Shabbos? My children often walking around the house with one shoe on, one shoe off. Why? What's wrong with walking on Shabbos in the streets with one shoe on, one shoe off? Anybody want to suggest?
Might take it off.
Why?
Because it starts to feel uncomfortable with any one shoe.
Oh, okay. Close. Rashi says that's what his Rebbes told him, that people make fun of him, and therefore he'll take it off and carry it. Rashi says, the Yerushalmi says, an interesting svot, that if you walk with one shoe, people will think to themselves, where's the second shoe? You must be carrying it in your jacket, in your pocket, and therefore they'll come to think you're allowed to carry on Shabbos. So Mishnah told us two halachas so far. You're not allowed to walk with a shoe which has a lot of nails, and you're not allowed to walk with one shoe. You're not allowed to walk outside on Shabbos on tefillin. The Gemara describes this greater length. Not with the amulet. In the olden days, amulet was a very big thing. And if you look at the Beis Yosef, it's got literally pages and pages and pages about kamiras, which are all not negia so much nowadays. So it's some kamiras that they wrote the names of Hashem, some they wrote psukim, some were actually made out of herbs. And if a person wasn't well, he would wear this amulet. You're not allowed to wear an amulet on Shabbos. If it doesn't come from somebody who's a mumcha, and mumcha is somebody who is skilled, who's proven. You're not allowed to wear armor, right? You're not allowed to wear body armor. You're not allowed to wear a helmet. You're not allowed to wear socks made out of iron. That's how Rashi calls it. If you look over here, I've got 3 pictures over here. Yossi, I was hoping you'd have better pictures. You don't have better pictures for this? This is armor. If you've never seen armor, this is a helmet. And this is iron shoes. Iron shoes. It's like, it's to protect your feet from arrow. What?
Shin guards, the article says.
Skin guards?
No, footballers. Shin guards, what you wear in, like, footballers.
Oh, I never heard of that. Oh, very nice. Dramatic picture. Nice helmet, nice nice armor. And you can see at the bottom he's wearing iron shoes. And you can see this boy, he's wearing a kamir. You can see it's a few psukim. So that is what's forbidden. Very good. So all that is forbidden. Vim yotza. If a person goes out, you're not chayav chatos. Why not chayav chatos? Why not chayav chatos? The answer is because all of these. Why is it only Durabonon? That's what I'm saying. Why is it only Durabonon? Because they are clothes. They are clothes. A helmet is a piece of clothing. A body of armor is a piece of clothing. Only we're not allowed to be Durabonon. So the Gemara says like this: Sandala Masuma Maitana. What's wrong with walking with hobnailed shoes? What's wrong with walking around with shoes that have lots of nails at the bottom? Omar Shmuel. The Gemara now tells us 3 tragic stories, one after the next. All of them including hobnailed shoes. Oh, can you see? These are shoes with nails. The first picture, the red picture. The more later discusses the other smaller pictures, much later, so we'll come to it later. But at the moment we're talking about the red shoe which got a lot of nails. Why is it forbidden? So the Gemara says 3 tragic stories. Omar Shmuel Shlefi Hashmad was a time of danger. They were hiding in a cave. They said, they said, anybody inside the cave is not allowed to leave. Why? Because when you leave a cave, it's very hard to notice whether people are watching you. And if somebody's watching you, can discover the cave and Chas v'Shalom can attack. They're all hiding in the cave. But they allowed people to come in, because when people would come in, they would first make sure that nobody was following them, and only then would they come in. So therefore, to come in was not a problem. To leave was a problem. Again, just let's be clear. To leave, the guy might notice you leaving the cave and then try and track you down. But to go in, you'd always make sure. So you're allowed to come in, you weren't allowed to leave. One of the people walking into the cave walked in with his shoes on backwards, back to front. So when he walked into now shoes are very young, will not be possible. It's not practical to wear our shoes backwards. But in the olden days shoes, maybe it was. So what would happen is he would walk with the shoes backwards, and then when he was actually coming into the cave, it looked like what he was doing was leaving the cave on the footprints. They thought that one of them has left, and now they're about to be attacked. They pushed each other out of the way to get out. They ended up killing each other with these sharp, nailed shoes more than the enemies. They were sitting in a cave. They heard a sound above the cave. Very similar story. Tesis adds that perhaps the noise they heard was the noise of these hobnailed shoes tramping along on top of the cave. They heard the sound behind the shul. And more were killed.
Why is that practical to us, though?
Oh, I was about to say, this gezerah was a very, very, very hard gezerah. And it only gets harder because Chazal made certain ramifications to this gezerah. We do not understand it. The Rand says that because there were so many tragic stories with these shoes, we don't want to wear them on Shabbos, because on Shabbos people remember the tragedies and it will spoil the simcha of Shabbos. That's what the Ran says.
Then would Yom Tov be included?
What?
Yom Tov then be included as well, that you can't wear them?
I didn't catch that, sorry.
Well, then on Yom Tov as well, can you not wear those shoes?
More says later. More talks about it later. Yom Tov you're also not allowed to. Yom Tov you're also not allowed to wear them. It is a very, very strange gazelle. It's a very strange gazelle. And
why did I have to come to this point for these reasons not to wear the shoes? Isn't it the same with the way you can't drag like a heavy bench across the ground because you come to uproot things? Wouldn't it be easier to learn that from that halacha, that when the nails will uproot and drag it along the ground?
Not necessarily. I hear your question, but if you're walking along a main road, there won't be any plants there. You're not uprooting plants. And dragging a table is only forbidden on earth, and it's only because of chayus you might make furrows. When you're trampling along, you're not actually making furrows, you're just making tiny little holes. We will see that the some nailed shoes is permitted. There's no, if you're in a grassy area, I hear what you're saying, but not necessarily with people walking in grass. I just say an interesting thing that there was one of the in one of the Israeli wars, there was a missile or a bomb fell on a building, and they brought in heavy tractors to clear the building. And people were a bit upset because unfortunately some of the people were killed by the tractors coming in to clear the building, because the whole thing was collapsed. And Mr. Silverstein was asked about it. And it's interesting because he said that Ma'amokim, so he has this like ability to provide sources which a lot of people don't find. Is that the Yeshua writes in one of his Svarim, what motivated him to write his Sefer? Why did Yeshua write his Sefer? And he describes that one time he was at home, the house fell in, and he was stuck under the rubble for hours. And he davened to Hashem, and he said to Hashem, if I ever come out of this rubble, I'll write a Sefer to explain Rashi and different things. And the Yeshua writes in the long story there that you should know that in the process of helping me get out of the rubble, those who saved me end up killing more people than they saved. Like this Gemara, he quotes this Gemara, that in the process they end up killing more than the collapsed it. So Zilberstein says, you see though, that Yeshua does not tell them off. He didn't tell them they did wrong. Because a person, at the end of the day, when you're trying to save, it can sometimes happen. That means it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a tragedy, but it doesn't mean that what they did was wrong. Okay, it's really getting off the point. The Ma'aseh Chazal made this gzer, like many gzers of Chazal, we do not always understand the full ramifications, and the Gemara is going to have more details of it. We said the Ran, because it's like zilzaling for Shabbos, people get upset on Shabbos. Other Rishonim say that all these three stories happened, so they saw that these things were common. It wasn't just a rare occurrence. Okay. Says the Gemara, Yochi, if that's the case, let's forbid it on weekdays as well, because people might trample each other. What says, Ma'aseh have when the story happened, the Shabbos have happened on Shabbos, so only fail on Shabbos. For the Gemara, beyond the story, let's permit it on Yom Tov. Alama Tanan, why did we learn? On top of Samach Amud Beis we have to. It's a Mishnah in Beitza. The Mishnah in Beitza tells us that you're allowed to send a gift on Yom Tov only if the gift has some purpose on Yom Tov. If you send somebody raw meat, you can cook meat. If you send somebody something which he cannot use on Yom Tov, it's a zilzal in Yom Tov because it's a lot of effort. So you can only give a gift on Yom Tov, something that can be used on Yom Tov. So the Mishnah says, "V'shalachin kelim b'Yom Tov." You can send clothes, whether they're sewed or not. Why? Because even if a jacket is not sewed, it's still useful. People can use it to sleep on. People can use it to sit on or to cover themselves as a blanket. So even clothes which are not sewn have some purpose. So you're allowed to send clothes which are not sewn. You're not allowed to send a nailed sandal. And you're not allowed to send a shoe which hasn't been sewed. A shoe which is not usable, which cannot be worn because it's not been sewn up, is not useful, not as a shoe, and not as a blanket, and not as a pillow, or not as a bed. So therefore, clothes, a jacket can be used as a blanket, but a shoe which hasn't been completely finished is useless. Therefore, the Mishnah says you're not allowed to send something which cannot be used. And one of the things the Mishnah says is a sandal which has got nails is a raya, it's a proof that a sandal that has nails is forbidden. And it's more, no. By Shabbos, my time, why did they forbid on Shabbos to get knufya? People often gather. Yom Tov make a knufya, and Yom Tov they also gather. So Chazal forbade it to wear nailed shoes at all times when people gather. The Gemara, Tanis Sibu knufya. The Gemara says that Tanis Sibu, which there's a gathering, litza. Every time there's a Tanis Sibu, we should be allowed to wear these shoes because there's a gathering. And well, if you have a big knufya to Yisur, when did this story happen? At a time when you're not allowed to do malacha, like Shabbos or Yom Tov. So Chazal cut it, fine-tuned the Gezerah. And they said like this. The stories all happened on Shabbos. Shabbos is a time when one's not allowed to do malacha, and it's a time of gathering. So Yom Tov is a time of gathering, and you're not allowed to do malacha. So the Gezerah will be included, not just Shabbos, also Yom Tov. But a weekday, there's no gathering. On the Tanis Tzibur, you're allowed to do malacha. Therefore, we're not going to forbid it only on Shabbos and Yom Tov and not other times. Now, the Gemara here is a bit bothered that when Chazal make a Gzeira, do they cut it in pieces or do they make a generalization and say that it's always forbidden? This is a big shine that we have whenever you have a Gzeira or Chazal. Do they say it applies across the board or only in individual cases? And the Gemara quotes very briefly a Gzeira that existed as follows: that one time they took water of the Pora Aduma, of the ashes of the Pora Aduma, on a boat. And unfortunately, they found afterwards that in that same boat, there was a body, a part of a dead person. There was a part of a dead person in the boat, which made the waters of the ashes of the Pora Aduma no good, because if it becomes tummy, you cannot use them. And they had to throw it out. Now, the halacha is you're supposed to look after the waters of the ashes of the Pora Aduma. You're not allowed to waste them. And because of this story that they found that there was a dead body there, they had to throw them out. So they made a gzeira. What was the gzeira? You are never allowed to carry the ashes of the Pora Aduma on a boat. Did you hear such a gzeira? Because once on the boat there was a dead body, part of a dead body, therefore you're never allowed to carry the ashes of the Pora Aduma on a boat. Now this gzeira is a machlokes tanoim. How far was the gzeira? Any boat? What about a bridge? What about any river? So the Gemara brings a machlokes, and the Gemara only brings one opinion. Va'afilu, says the Gemara, that they only forbade it on the river of the Yarden. But let's say you want to cross a different river. Let's say you want to cross a river which is not the Yarden, then you're allowed to go on the boat. Furthermore, it's only forbidden on the boat, but on the bridge is permitted. Not like the Chachamim. The Chachamim say all rivers are forbidden, and not just boats, but also bridges are forbidden. And comes along with Chanina and says, no, only boats are forbidden, and only the Yarden is forbidden. So we'll see what's the Rab Chanina's opinion. When Chazal make a Gezerah, what do? They make the Gezerah only to the identical, similar case. If that's the case, when it comes to the shoe with the nails, would they answer just Shabbos or also Yom Tov? What would you say?
Not Yom Tov.
Not Yom Tov, just Shabbos. Just like he said about the Pora Aduma. It's only also on the Yarden River, because that's where the story originally occurred. And only through a boat, but not other rivers and on a bridge. So similarly, he should say that when did the hobnailed shoe happen? On Shabbos. So only on Shabbos, not on Yom Tov. Says the Gemara, no, that's different. Why? There, Hanimili Yarden, the Shan Mishanois. The Yarden is different from all other rivers. Yom Tov Shabbos ki adodin yinu. There's not ain't being Yom Tov Shabbos aleichon nefesh b'vad. Yom Tov and Shabbos are so similar that once they forbade it Shabbos, they forbade Yom Tov as well. But the story of the boat, that was a particularly unique occurrence that happened on the Yarden on a ship, on a boat, and therefore they only forbade it on the Yarden and not on other rivers. And this is a very important rule that we have whenever you have a Gezerah. The Chazal make it a narrow focus Gezerah only in the similar case, or do they extend it to other cases as well? So let's summarize. The Mishnah told us a man is not allowed to walk with a nailed shoe on Shabbos. If he does, is he chayav chatos? Anybody want to say? Is he chayav chatos if he walks with a nailed shoe on Shabbos? No. Why not? Because it's a normal clothing, and therefore there's no isam nato. It's only asked to do abonon. It's wearing normal clothes. It's permitted with nato. It's only do abonon. Why did Chazal forbid it? Because many tragic stories happened with it. Why did they forbid it on Yom Tov as well? Because Yom Tov is similar to Shabbos. Why didn't they forbid it on weekday? Because the story happened only on Shabbos and only at a time of gathering when there was Issa Malocha and therefore not Tanis Sibul. Oh, so let's just say only Shabbos. No, Shabbos and Yom Tov are very, very similar. Now the Gemara establishes cases that you are allowed to wear a nailed shoe. We just said you're not allowed to. It says in certain cases you are allowed to, and this Gemara goes on for some time. If you've got a lot of nails in the shoe, that the purpose of the nails is to make it strong, that is forbidden. If you stick nails inside the shoe just to make the shoe look nicer, mutter, it is mutter. And that's the next Gemara. Let's get it more clear. If the nails are there to make the shoe stronger, and you've got, let's say, 20, 30, 40 nails, that's forbidden. But it's just to beautify the shoe, that's mutter. The Kabbalah, how many nails is still considered as only for beauty? The more nails you put in, the more likely it is for strength. So how many is considered as only for beauty? 5 in each shoe. 7 in each shoe. And the work explains, let it be according to me, and one by the straps. 3 from here, 3 from here, one by the straps. Here it's got a picture. Let me just show you the picture. If you've got a picture, you can look at it. If you've got a more dramatic picture, you'll see. Always happy to see. But here's a picture. You can have, according to Rabbi Yehuda, 5 nails, according to Rabbi Yehuda, 7 nails. If you have 5, 2 on each side, 2 here, 2 on the insole, 2 on the inside of the shoe, 2 on the outside of the shoe, and 1 at the bottom where the strap eventually goes down to. Those days I had the strap from the front to the back. According to Mandama 7, oh, this is only 5. Sorry, he's only shown the picture of 5 and 5. He hasn't shown the picture of 7. Let me just see. Oh, what's
the issue? Why can't it be for stronger? What's the problem of that to make it stronger?
Chazal said, it's very good, I'm happy, I appreciate the questions. Chazal said, don't wear shoes on Shabbos which have got nails. The reason being, because terrible tragedies happened. Those shoes were shoes where the nails were made for strength and not for beauty. So the Gezerah was made exclusively for nailed shoes that are made for strength. But shoes that have nails for beauty, that was never included in the Gezerah. And now we're only discussing what is considered beauty and what's considered strength. So we've got Machlokes 5 or 7. So the Gemara says that if you say 5, it's 2 on each side of the shoe and 1 on the back. If you say 7, it's 3 on each side and 1 on the back. Right, that's how you've got the 5 and the 7. Meisvit. Sandal anoita. If you've got a sandal, a shoe, which is on a slant, because it's been worn very badly, let's say the back of the shoe has been worn down. So it's on a slope, or the side of the shoe has been worn down. So what do you do if your shoe is worn down in one area? What do? You bang a lot of nails into that area, and then that way, the shoe will be straight. That's what you do, I'm sure. Isn't that what you do? If you've got a shoe which is on the slope, you bang extra nails. So the Mishnah says like this. You do 7 nails. You're allowed to put in 7 nails, and you're still allowed to walk with it on Shabbos. 7 nails. Rebbe says you're allowed to do how many nails? 13. Now, before we had the Machlokes, how many nails is okay? We had one opinion 5, one opinion 7. Those were Amoyroim. Now we're bringing a price of Tanoim of 7 and 13. Chanina says 7. He's got somebody who says like him. Rabbi Yehuda said you're only allowed to have 5. He's not going like anybody. He said 5, and in the price that we see 7 or 13. So Rabbi Yehuda is being more machmir than everybody else. There's another Tana who holds that 5 only. The Tana also 5 is mutter, 7 is also. So it comes out, if somebody would ask you how many nails is mutter, you'll say there are 3 opinions. One opinion says 5 and no more. One says 7 and no more, and one says 13 and no more. Okay. Efa said to Rabbi Chana, "Aton you, Tamid Rabbi Yochanan, Abidu Rabbi Yochanan. You're the Tamid Rabbi Yochanan. Do like Rabbi Yochanan only 5. I know now with Rabbi Chanina we can do 7 like Rabbi Chanina because we hold like Rabbi Chanina that you're even allowed to have 7 nails." This Gezerah, by the way, applies today nowadays as well. Even though I mentioned to you that ornaments are permitted, because nowadays we said, does anybody remember we said 4 hetevim for women to wear ornaments? Either they don't show it off, or there's no shusarabim, or they're not going to listen to us anymore, or because of the fact they meet the friends all the time. But that is only regarding ornaments. But shoes, you're not allowed to wear shoes with nails coming out on Shabbos. Are you allowed to walk on Shabbos with a shoe that has 5 nails? Even 7 is mutter. Like who?
Strictly nails.
What?
Sorry, strictly nails, or can it be, let's say, football boots that have like these things?
More discussed later. What about Nike shoes? If they've got a lot of, I don't know. What does it talk about Nike specifically? The other shoes, what does it talk about? Afilu sheva mutter. Tesmai. What about 9? Afilu ches asa. Even 8 is asa. So according to Avashi, you're only allowed to have 7 and no more, which is according to the Shitta of Abchadina, if you remember previously. A shoemaker asked Mami, what happens if you sew a shoe into a sandal? Here Rashi got a picture of it. It's not such a clear picture. If you can see it, it's Kedai. If you look at the picture, you've got a sandal with got nails inside it, and you sew a shoe into the sandal. So what is the din in such a case? So, talking with now, Omalei mutter, I know it's mutter, but I don't know why it's mutter. And that means my Rebbe told me it's mutter, but I don't know why my Rebbe said it's mutter. You do not know. It's a shoe. The sandal goes via bonon, the middle goes via bonon. The whole gazelle was only regarding a sandal, not a shoe. And here you've sewn a shoe into the sandals, therefore it's okay. So got a few tail. One hat is if you put the nails in the shape of if you only do a few nails for beauty, or if you sew a shoe into the sandal, that's also what. Also, it can mean kalbus mau. What's the halacha if you make it like a kalbus? Kalbus, I don't know the good English word for it, is pronged nails, 2 pronged nails. Look over here. Right? If you bang these nails into the shoe like a ches, right? Both ends are very, very sharp and you bang them in. What's
like a staple?
Staples. Oh, that's a very good word. Staples. Sure. What happens if you do staples? Omalei mutter. That's staples or mutter. If you put staples inside the shoe, that's mutter. If you cover the entire shoe with nails, in order that it shouldn't get ruined by the floor, it shouldn't get moldy from the floor, it shouldn't get worn by the floor, mutter, it is mutter. So we've got another attack. Staples is mutter, or if you cover the entire shoe, that's also mutter. Tanya Kavosadav Sheshis. The Yetzesh besandal amesuma, you're not allowed to go outside with a nailed sandal. Here's a very important chumah which we never had till now. Till now we've been talking about walking outside with a nailed sandal. Now we're talking about walking inside the house with a nailed sandal, and the Bryce says that that too is forbidden. Not only till now we've always been talking about going outside. You're not even allowed to walk in your own house with such a shoe. And we're allowed to use this shoe as a lit pot, or if your bed is shaky, the legs of the bed are not completely uniform in size, you can use this shoe to prop up your bed. Why? Why allowed to use this shoe to prop up your bed? The answer is the shoe is not muktzah. Because it's a shoe, it is not, clothes are not muktzah. The whole reason you're not allowed to wear it is because I was scared of that whole terrible tragedy. But since it is a shoe is a keli. A keli is allowed to be carried on Shabbos inside the house. But Rosh Hashanah forbids. Why does he forbid you to use it as a lid pot? Anybody want to hazard a guess? Why can't I use a hobnailed sandal as a pot for my cholent? Oh, very good.
You might end up wearing it.
You might end up wearing it. If you use this shoe, this sandal, this hobnailed sandal, as a lid for your cholent pot, once you pick it up, you might decide, well, I might as well wear it at the same time. Not sure if most of the nails fell off, or there's only 4 or 5 left, mutter. Then it's mutter. If it's got 4 or 5, or most of them fell off, it's mutter. The Rebbe Mati had Sheva. Rebbe's Mati till 7. Did anybody remember what did Rebbe say previously? How many nails are you allowed to have in the shoe in the previous price, which we used to ask the Kasha?
7, no?
No, he didn't say 7. The previous price, Rebbe said a different number. He said 13. The Gemara will ask later, how come before he said 13, now it's gone down to 7. If you put this leather at the bottom, if the shoe's flat at the bottom and the nails are on the top, like a hedgehog, that is mutter. Osoikim kalvos, if you use the nails like staples, it says mutter. Oikim tas, or if it's like pin tacks, what they're called, thumbtacks. Thumbtacks is also mutter. Oikim yosed, or if it's like a spear. Or you cover the entire thing with nails. Here's got a picture of 3 different kinds of nails. If you want to look very carefully. So this one's forbidden, and these 2 are permitted. And so too is the staples permitted. And so too, if it's completely covered in nails, the entire shoe is also permitted. And so too, if the nails are above the shoe, not below the shoe, it's also permitted. So we've got quite a lot of heterim for this shoe. Says the Gemara. So now we brought a brisa that told us a few different heterim regarding this shoe. Hogu for kasha. It's self-contradictory. Almost you said noshu roid mas merosav. If most fell off, avgav d'shtai b'ituva. Let's say you had on it 50 nails, and the majority fell off. 30 nails fell off. How many nails do you have left if 30 out of 50 fell? 20 are left. It's a mashma, it's okay, because it says if most fell off, it's okay. But then you say, Arba Chomish, and 4 or 5, yes, Tfei. Then if most of the nails fell off, or it's got 4 or 5, that doesn't work. If most of the nails fell off, you've still got 20 left, you're saying it's permitted, then they say only if it's got 4 or 5. There's a difference between nails that have been pushed in all the way, or that are being pulled out. When they're being pulled out, then if most have come out, it's okay. When they're being pushed in all the way, so there's nothing left, so then it's only permitted if you've got 4 or 5. Again, if you had 50 nails and out fell 30, it's mutter, because the majority fell out. If you had 50 nails and they've all been pushed in, that means they've all been forced in after you walk a very, very lot. What's the word for it? And then what happens is, then there's nothing, then it's permitted only, it's only permitted if you've only got 4 or 5, not if it's been up. Once it's been uprooted, it's more kuldik, it's not there. But if there's only a little bit left, then it's only 4 or 5. It says the more Abba Chomish mutter, 4 or 5 is mutter. If you say 5 is okay, of course 4. If it's a big shoe, you're allowed to have 5 nails. If it's a small shoe, you're allowed to have 4 nails. As we said before, the more nails it has, the more it is done for strength. And you're only permitted if the nails are there for beauty, not for strength. A small sandal, you're allowed 4. A big sandal, you're allowed 5. The second verse on this page goes through a tremendous amount of Gemaras, where the Gemara often uses the expression 4 or 5. Like you sometimes say to your children, okay, you can have 2 or 3 biscuits. So they say to you, we're allowed 2 or we're allowed 3. There's a difference, right? So many times the Gemara uses the expression, Gemara says over here, you're allowed 4 or 5 nails. So the Gemara's got a question, are you allowed 4 or are you allowed 5? If you're allowed 5, don't tell me 4. 4 is obvious. So this goes through that sometimes the Gemara doesn't ask us a question, sometimes the Gemara does ask us a question, but generally it is a question. Because even though it makes sense in expression, you know, okay, a few 3 or 4 miles. I called up the police station the other day. I want to know if it's okay to walk in the Yorkshire Dales. You know, for a couple of hours, my son was before Yomi as Manim. He said to me, you're allowed to go for a you know, I can't remember the exact words they used, for like an hour or 2 drive. I can't remember the exact words. I said to myself, I want to know, am I allowed this, am I allowed that? So it sometimes makes a question, what's permitted, what's forbidden? And then they said to me, not allowed to do anything. But anyway. Moses says, Vebi Mati ad Sheva. Vebi permits it only till 7. But Tani Vebi Mati ad Shloisha. So Vebi is matter 13. And it's more Nuita Shani. When the shoe's on a slant, so when you're adding in the nails, then the reason you're adding the nails is for what? Is just to make the shoe straight. So then Vebi is Mati to do 13. But when the shoe is not on a slant, So the reason you're putting in the shoes is either for beauty or for strengthening, then you're only allowed 7. Very briefly, as a summary like this. In the beginning of the Gemara, we had the machlokas, how many nails is permitted in the shoe. Rabbi Yochanan said 5, Rabbi Chanina said 7. We asked the kasha from a brisa. The brisa brought 2 opinions. One opinion said 7, and one opinion said 13. So we asked the question, according to Rabbi Yochanan, it says 5, neither opinion in the brisa work with him. And we answered that he holds of another brisa. Says the Gemara, we didn't need to come on to that other answer. Because in that brisa, which says 7 and 13, we're discussing a situation where the sandal was worn away. And since it was worn away, therefore the purpose of the nails is just to keep the shoe on balance. And then, of course, you're allowed more. So again, for beauty, it's only up to 5 or 7. But to keep the shoe straight, you're allowed 7 or 13. So we've got quite a number of hetevim. If you were doing a dil shufa hair, this would be a very, very typical question that the dil shufa hair would ask. You're not allowed to wear a nailed sandal on Shabbos. Tell us 5 or 10 hetevim when you are allowed to. Anybody want to shout out when are you allowed to wear a nailed shoe? Weekday. What? Staples. Kayon, who else? You cover the entire shoe.
Spear-like.
Sorry?
Spear-like. It's like a spear.
Like a spear, very good, like a spear, like a thumbtack, like
Then
if
they're
you
not for
cover
strength.
if
They're not for strength.
not for strength, only for beauty. If the nails are on top, not below. If you cover the entire shoe, not just part of the shoe. Okay. Oh, if you sew a shoe into the sandal, all these are mutter. Says the Gemara. Omar Master, Omar Dachvir B'Masna, Omar Rav, Omar Master. Ein halacha b'mos Rabbi Shimon. Halacha is not like Rabbi Shimon who says you're not allowed to touch these shoes on Shabbos. You're allowed to. Says the Gemara. Pshita yochad v'rabim halacha g'rabim. And yochad v'rabim halacha g'rabim. Answers well. Mal the team mistabel tabel Rabbi Shimon. You might have thought that his logic is very good. That once you start touching this hobnailed sandal, you may come to then wear it. Kamash malon that we're not chayshish, that even though this logic is sound, we don't pass them. If not for the fact that would make fun of me and say that I'm a big maker, then have a shovino beituva, I would allow even more nails. How many nails would you allow? The Popodisa omrin esim v'arba, up to 24 nails. The Suah omrin esim v'taltin, 22 nails. How would you remember who says 24 and who says 22? By the time you walk from Disa to Suah, you'll listen to. That means the Bechia came from Eretz Yisrael down to Babel. Now, if he would have been wearing a nailed sandal, not necessarily was he, but had he, the longer he walks, the more nails are going to wear away and fall out. And by the time he got to Pumbedisa, he would have still had 24 nails left. By the time he came to Suah, he would have had less. He would have only had 22 because Suah was further. So we've got machlokas. How many would Bechia be batir? How many would he permit? 24 nails or 22 nails? Pumbedisa say 24, Suah say 22, and the way to remember it is that Suah is further, and since Suah is further, more nails would have fallen out. Another way to remember it is the word Suah is very similar to the word chosa, lacking, missing. And by the time he came to Suah, he was missing more nails. Right. We're finished now with the entire sugya of a nailed sandal. Now we're discussing a new sugya, and that is walking with one shoe. We said you're not allowed to walk with one shoe. The Gemara doesn't tell us why. Rashi thinks from the Yerushalmi that people will think if you're walking with one shoe, that you must be carrying the other shoe. Alternatively, Rashi says that if you walk with one shoe, people make fun of you, and you'll take it off and start carrying. Says the Mishnah, if you have a wound on your leg, then you're allowed to walk with one shoe. There are 2 ways to understand this logic. Either there's a wound on the leg which you're wearing the shoe, and people will make fun of you because they'll say, I know why you're wearing one shoe. Because that shoe which has got an illness to it is sensitive, so therefore you have to put a shoe on that leg because you're scared of hurting it. But the other leg, which is perfectly healthy, doesn't need a shoe. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is the other way around. is the shoe that has the injury does not have a shoe. Because the leg that has the injury, you don't put a shoe on because it's got plasters on it and it's got bandages on it. The other leg does have a shoe. So the question is, when the Mishnah says that if a person has an injury to one leg, he's allowed to wear one shoe, what are we talking about? Are we talking about where he puts the shoe on the leg that has the injury? Or are we talking about where he puts the shoe on the leg that does not have the injury? That is a machlokas in the Gemara. But Lo b'yochid b'dan shein b'ragli makah, he has no injury. Top of Samech Aleph Amud Aleph. Or yesh b'ragli makah, if there's an injury, nofik, he's allowed to go out. B'haimi now nofik. With which leg does he put the shoe on? You put the shoe on the leg that has the injury. The reason that people wear shoes can be for one of two reasons. Either because it's more comfortable, that's why you wear shoes, or to save yourself from pain. Now, if you put the shoe on the leg that has an injury, why are you putting a shoe on that leg? And so not for comfort, but you're doing it in order to protect yourself from pain. You put the shoe on the leg that has no wound. Why? You do it for pleasure. You put shoes on for pleasure. And the shoe that has an injury, there's no pleasure in wearing a shoe. Everybody can see that the reason why you've got a shoe on, the reason it's got no shoe on, so it is because of the injury. Rabbi Yochanan also held the Rav Huna's shitta. Rabbi Yochanan said to Rav Shimon bar Abba, "Havli mesanoi, pass me my shoes." Rabbi Yochanan was getting dressed in the morning, and he asked his Gabba, "Pass me my shoes." Yoim leidi yamin. The Gabba passed him the right shoe first. Getting the picture clear because it gets a bit confusing. So it's very good to concentrate now, to hold with. Rabbi Yochanan was getting dressed. He asked his Gabba to pass him the shoes. The Gabba passed him the right shoe. Does anybody know which shoe he's supposed to put on first? Does anybody know?
Right, then left, and then you tie the left, and then you tie the right.
Very, very good. Yeah, you heard that? You put on the right shoe, then the left shoe, then you tie the left, and then you tie the right. That is the maskana of this Gemara. But there are those who argue, and they say the other way around. You put first the right shoe, and then the left shoe. And Rabbi Yochanan was the one who held that you put the right shoe on first, and then the left shoe. Sorry. So he held that you put on the left shoe, and then the right shoe. Rabbi Yochanan held, let's keep track, let's keep cheshbon. You put the left shoe on first, and then the right shoe. He asked his Gabba, "Pass me my shoes." The Gabba passed him the right shoe. What's Rabbi Yochanan going to do now? He holds you have to put the left shoe on first, and he gets past the right shoe. What's he going to do? If you really, really makpit, is put on the right shoe, and the other leg not have a shoe at all on. You with me? If Rabbi Yochanan, you put on the left shoe, then the right shoe. The Gabba passed him the right shoe only, first. So Omalei, when Rabbi Yochanan saw him that he passed him the right shoe, he said to him, "Asisei maka, you made it as if my leg has an injury, and as if I'm going to walk around all day with one shoe." Is a raya that the purpose of wearing the shoe was for the right leg that has a wound, an injury. Says maybe he holds like Chibarav. You made my left shoe as if it has a leg, as if it's got an injury. So you got no raya. And he did this no raya, and for Rabbi Yochanan got no proof. And now the Gemara switches to a slightly different topic: is how does one put on one's shoe? I'll just say very briefly a famous story, a very, very famous story. Shabbos brings it down. There was once Lev La'achim convinced a family to send their child from school. And after a few days, the father asked his son, "So what are you learning in school?" And he said, "We're learning in school that you should put on your right shoe, then your left shoe, then tie your left shoe, then tie your right shoe." And his father was very, very frustrated. He said, "Is this what the nonsense they teach you there?" And then what happened is that years later, he was in this army, and he was putting on his shoes in a big speed because they were about to do something, about to go on a mission. And he put them on wrong, and he suddenly remembered, so he quickly went back to put his shoes on the correct way, first right, then left, and tie the left, took them off to the right. And his fellow soldiers who had gone on ahead were killed, but he was saved because of the delay. Furthermore, this story, but there's another story that I heard it from Yehuda Steinberg himself, He said the story. He said when he was a child, Yeshua Zaman Orbach was on a bus, and he saw Yeshua Zaman standing there on the bus, and he felt that the God that I do standing on the bus, it's a waste to let him just learn himself. He might as well. A lot of people do this. It seems like they don't really like it. That finally they've got a few minutes to themselves, and people come rushing up to them to ask him a question. But he felt that he must go and ask him a question. So he was a little child of 11 years old. He went into Yeshua Zaman and he said, I don't understand why in the world it makes a difference how to put on my shoes. First this, then this. What difference does it make how I put on my shoes? And Yeshua Zaman said to him like this: every single person in the world puts on his shoes every day. What Hakadosh wanted, because he loves us, is that instead of us putting on shoes and getting no reward for it whatsoever, he told us how to put on the shoes, and in that way we'll get paid for it as well. It's a very, very important message. Hakadosh wants us to get paid, so to speak, for every little thing that we do. And therefore, he makes it that everything that we do, we've got the opportunity to do a mitzvah. Like a boss, usually, he pays you for important work. If something else, go for a coffee break. He's not going to pay you for the coffee break. But Hakadosh pays us also for the coffee break, because when we have a coffee break, then we make sure to make a bracha and to eat in a correct halachic way. So Hakadosh, in his kindness, taught us how to put on shoes. So the Bible says like this: Vaz Avichon and Tamei. Avichon goes according to Shittat of Rabbi Yochanan Ketfilin. Kach min olim. Shoes are like tefillin. Ma tefillin bismol, just like tefillin on the left. Ach min olim bismol. Also shoes you first put on the left shoe and then the right shoe. Meisa asked you a kasha. Kashu noya, when you put on your shoes, noya shel yamin, v'achkach shel noya shel smol. First do your right shoe, then your left shoe. Or Rabbi Yosef hashel tanya hachi. We've got one verse says one way. But Rabbi Yochanan hachi, Rabbi Yochanan says a different way. Davadachi, Avad. You can choose. You've got freedom of choice. You can put on your right shoe first or your left shoe first. Abai said no. Maybe Rabbi Yochanan never heard of this price. Had he heard of it, maybe he would have changed his mind. Alternatively, he heard this price because someone halacha Mishnah never heard of it. Those who fear Hashem, they do all the shittas. Umanu, who was that? What did he do? He put on the right shoe, he never tied it. He put on his left, he tied it, and then he tied the right. And the reason is, the right is more important than the left, and therefore, because with the right hand, we do the avodah of the Beis HaMikdash. Since we do the avodah of the Beis HaMikdash, therefore the right is more important than the left. So if you put your right shoe, then your left shoe. But when it comes to tying the left is more important than the right, because we tie our tefillin on our left hand. So first put on your right shoe, then your left shoe, then you tie your left shoe, and then you tie your right shoe. That way you're showing chashivas to the right and chashivas to the left. Omar, Rav Rashi, Chazin Rav Kahana, the Rekopit. I saw that Rav Kahana was not makbid at all of this. We put on his shoes. When you put on your shoes, you put on the right, then the left. When you take your shoes off, you take off your left shoe, then your right shoe. And if you look at the Mishmor says it's not just about shoes. It's even about socks and trousers. That you should put your right leg in, and then your left leg. When you get undressed, you take off your left leg, then your right leg, etc. The person, the Bible continues, when you wash yourself, you first wash your right side of the body, your right hand, your right leg, when you anoint yourself, you anoint your right, and then afterwards the left. First you anoint your head, because the king always is born. There's a sefer called Tzitzas Novel Tzvi, a very, very obscure sefer, hardly ever been heard of. It was written by Tzvi Sarsportus, who lived shortly after the Taz. And he writes there that what happened was Shabbos Tzvi claimed to be Mashiach, and one of the things they checked about him and they saw that he was not makbid on putting his shoes on this way, that means right, the left, tying the left and right, and they told the Taz, and when they heard it, the Taz said it's obviously not Mashiach, because he doesn't put on the shoes the correct way. Whenever tefillin, a person is not allowed to wear tefillin in the street on Shabbos. Now there's a machlokes, is there a mitzvah to wear tefillin on Shabbos? Now our Mishnah really tells us two chidushim if you think about it. One chiddush is that if you wear tefillin on Shabbos in the Rishus Rabbim, you're not chayav chatos. Why not chayav chatos if you wear tefillin in Rishus Rabbim? Does anybody know? You're carrying? Why not chayiv? Why not chayiv in Avera if you wear tefillin?
Anyways, our streets aren't
They're
they're not
if you
proper
were
shut
to take it
down.
to the Shushabi, if you were to take it to the Shushabi, you're not chayiv chatos. Why not?
I say doichelois, I say.
No, but you're not allowed to. What about the man Dama says? What about the man Dama says you're not allowed to wear tefillin? The answer is because you're not carrying. You're not actually. Oh, it's a malbush. It's a malbush. It's a garment. So one Chiddush Mishnah tells us is that tefillin is a garment, and if you're not carrying. Now, what about the other way around? What about there's another Chiddush in our Mishnah that it's not awesome in that term, but that is awesome in D'Rabbanan. That you're not allowed to wear tefillin in D'Rabbanan. Why not allowed to wear tefillin in D'Rabbanan? According to the man Dama, that you're allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos, so why can't I walk around in the streets? And the Gemara, I'm going to say it all outside. The Gemara says like this first, that tefillin, even though we said that men not always take off the jewelry, but tefillin a person might take off and start carrying the Shus Rabim. Why might somebody take off his tefillin and Shus Rabim and start carrying them? Does anybody guess? Why would you take off your tefillin and start carrying them on Shabbos?
Apostle.
If the apostle, okay, that's a fair argument, but it's a much more simple one.
Go to the bathroom.
Rain.
Oh,
It's gonna rain.
He's go to the bathroom or he needs to release gas. He's not allowed to wear tefillin. So therefore, it's very likely that if you're walking around with tefillin on Shabbos, especially in the older days, the bathrooms were always in the distance. So therefore, it's very likely that you take off your tefillin and start carrying them. So therefore, we've got two chidush in our Mishnah. One, there's no issa deraisa. Why? Because they are malbush. But there's the issa derabanan because you may come to carry them. And both of these chidushim apply equally whether you're allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos or whether you're not allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos. Even if you're allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos, you're still not allowed to midrabanan because you may come take them off and carry them. And even if you're allowed to, and even if you're not allowed to, but it's still not deraisa because it's still a garment. The more now just says what we just said now. That Shabbos is not allowed to wear tefillin. And I feel Shabbos not allowed to go. Why? The most might come to carry it to Shusarabim. Because even if you're allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos, but you might come to carry it, you'll take it off to go to the bathroom, and then instead of putting it back on, you'll come to carry them. Because the master are safer, some say are safer. But you're saying the chayav chatos. Who not only comes man that Shabbos is the time of tefillin, you know chayav chatos. I feel man that Shabbos allows man tefillin who even the comes man that Shabbos is not a time of tefillin. My time of derech malbush avida, it's clothes, and since it's clothes, you're not chayav chatos. That means whether you're allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos at home, or whether you're not supposed to wear tefillin at home, has no relevance whatsoever to our Mishnah. Because our Mishnah is talking about wearing it not at home, but wearing it to the Shusarabim. And everybody agrees that minhat Torah it is permitted because at the end of the day it's clothes. So you're not carrying, you're wearing something. It's no different to wearing a hat, a jacket, etc. And everybody agrees it is awesome midrabanan, even if you're supposed to wear it on Shabbos. Why? Because you may come to carry it. Very good. Okay, we'll stop here. And Neil favorite Evan, if you need a Shabbos article, let me know. I'm doing a bulk order, so slightly cheaper. Very nice. Oh, that's a good offer, Taka. It's quite useful to have the article because it's got very lot of English translations and pictures and whatnot. Some of you already bought the whole set, and there was a few people bought the whole set already. And then also those that if I would have known that was going to be such a long lockdown, I would have bought the whole set immediately. Instead, I bought myself a swift of a thing. Hopefully,
it won't be the whole chat.
I don't know. At the rate we're going, I'm afraid to tell you, I don't know. Those who bought it.
At the rate we're going, the set's going to cost double what it costs now in a few months' time.
Why? Because everybody's buying them.
No, it's just going to go up. It's
go up, yeah. It's quite. The way these Gemaras are quite light, they're quite interesting. Well, you're allowed to, not allowed to wear. The difficulty is that we're not used to these things, so therefore it's permitted. So before you go to sleep tonight, you can go through in your mind the 10 hatevim, 10 times, 10 different ways you're allowed to wear a nailed shoe. It's brought down in Bali Musa that thinking and learning before you fall asleep is a very big school for Kedusha. Do any of you remember the 10 things which you're allowed to wear your shoes for? Covered in nails, tacks, spears, weekday, tennis, sybil.
Thumb things, the thumb.
Yeah, we said thumbtacks. If the nail's on top,
If you
you
tie,
if you sew a shoe into your
it's
sandal,
over the whole foot.
if it's less than 5 or less than 7, no different Deuterium. I don't know. I've never actually seen anybody. Oh, so you're asking about these shoes, Nike? They've got no problem with these shoes. At the end of the day, because at the end of the day, these shoes are not. These are just part of the shoe. The design is not nails banged into the shoe. It's not.
So why, when you said you're talking about the gzer that they made about not taking paraduma water even over a bridge? So why? What's wrong with the bridge?
Because there was once it's actually throwing over a bridge, but never mind. The problem is that since once they took it in a boat and there was a dead body inside, and that made it tomes, they said no over water, never over water at all. Once they made the gzera, they established it in all cases. Very good.
Not be an oil mafsik.
Oh, yeah, but that particular story of the ship, there was no oil mafsiks, therefore we came from it.
Sure.
Very good. Okay, Hatzlacha. I'm pressing end, Moshe, yeah? So Hatzlacha. Good night, everybody. Good night, Hatzlacha.